seeing as we've just discussed the grease gun, we move on to its predecessor in American service, in this case the M1A1 Thompson, or sometimes referred to as the Tommy gun. And in terms of ergonomics, the first thing you notice is a definite weight increase. That was one of the complaints from the Thompson. Not only was it much more expensive to produce than the very cheap grease gun, but it was also much heavier. And right away you feel that most of the weight is in the rear here, in the mostly solid wooden stock. We have a 30 round magazine. It fires the same 45 caliber as the grease gun. It has a rails, you can see here, and a thing on the end of the magazine, so you guide that on up. Okay, again an open bolt gun, so we pull. There we go. Yes, it was indeed a safety issue. So the bolt is now pulled back, which would make it ready to fire. You can see the magazine. You can see through the open bolt the top of the magazine where the cartridges would be. And then pulling the trigger would bring the bolt forward, peeling off the upper cartridge into the chamber, and it starts firing. Yeah, a much heavier design than the grease gun. Bit of an awkward stock as well, I have to say. It is kind of far down in your shoulder, which you can see here. It's sort of out of line with the rest of the weapon compared to, for example, the Garand or other rifle. So the ergonomics are a bit strange, although you will probably get used to it. Let's give you a closer look at some of the mechanical safety features here, because it has a dual mechanism. There is the general safety here. Now it's on safe. Now it's on fire. But quite unique for a submachine gun, it also has a separate single shot. Well, I can't quite figure out how to use it, but you could set it to single shots as well, or to fully automatic, which is how it would be used most of the time. Taking the magazine out is done with the magazine release pedal here. Push it down. And all right, we now know how to release the magazine. It's this mechanism right here. You push it up and out it goes. Of course, inserting it, you have to follow the rail here. It slides into place. I imagine this could be quite tricky to do with trembling hands. There it goes. It's firmly in place. And we've already discussed the fire and save and the separate single and fully automatic switches here. In terms of the sight, we again have a post at the front and then a dual sight at the back here, with a notch at the top, a notch at the top and then a hole at the bottom. I believe that is for 100 and 200 meters, although I'm not quite sure. It is just a solid sight. You can't switch it any further than that. Of course, it's a very close range weapon, 45 caliber submachine gun. So yeah, of course the bolt is now locked in the rear position. The fire mode is on, so if you pull the trigger, it slams forward, starts firing. Overall, quite a heavy weapon. I can see why it was replaced by the grease gun. And of course also very expensive to manufacture. So typically how these were used is, you often in photographs you see squad leaders walking around with them, mortar crews, machine gun crews. But on paper at least they were typically pulled at the company level. They only had a small amount of them. And they were then it was up to the company commander to hand them out throughout his company to the people that needed them. And the idea was that it would be a sort of a special mission weapon. For night patrols, urban combat, you could equip a full squad with the, I believe, 6 of them that were available. But of course how it typically works is some people claim them and they don't let go of them. So in reality often you do see them used 1 or 2 per squad by whoever got their hands on them. And it is a fine weapon. It's heavy to carry, but I can definitely see why people wouldn't want to give them back to the company quartermaster after they had received them.